And we are recording.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Nancy Isserlis, the Vice Chair of the Washington State Public Disclosure Commission, and I'll be the presiding officer for today's hearing. Today is May 23rd. The time is 12:30 p.m. This hearing is being conducted under the authority of RCW 34.05 and the Administrative Procedure Act, WAC 390-28. and RCW 42.17A, excuse me, the Campaign Disclosure and Contribution Act. This hearing is being held by Microsoft Teams. The proceedings are being video and audio recorded. Today, there are a number of matters in brief enforcement hearings. The PDC staff is present and have provided a written record for each case. Any respondent who appears has an opportunity to appear by phone or may submit a statement in writing and waive the right to appear. It's my understanding we have one person who has indicated that they wanted to appear in person, and so we will probably proceed to take that case out of order and first. First order of business is for me to swear in all of the PDC staff that will be presenting matters on the record today. So I would ask the PDC staff to introduce themselves for the record, and then I'll swear you all in.
I'm Tabitha Townsend, and I'm a compliance coordinator for the PDC.
I'm Jordan Campbell. I'm a compliance coordinator.
Ian Spencer, compliance coordinator.
All right, Tabitha, Jordan, and Ian, would you please raise your right hands? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will be are about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do.
All right, let's move on to the one matter that we have a participant in today, and I think Tabitha, you told me that was case number 124175.
I actually have the overview first, and then we'll do the participant. That's okay.
You do the overview first, and then we'll move on. I apologize.
All right. That's okay. So brief overview, I'll make it quick. Today's brief adjudicative proceeding is concerning lobbyist employers whom PDC staff allege have violated RCW 4217A 630 by failing to file or timely file the lobbyist employer annual report, or L3 report, for the calendar year 2022 that was due to be filed with the PDC no later than February 28th, 2023. Little brief recap of the timeline for contacts that the PDC staff has made. PDC staff emailed the lobbyist employers reminders regarding their missing L3s or L5 reports in December of 2022, as well as January and February of 2023. On March 17th, 2023, the PDC staff emailed and mailed warning letters to lobbyist employers regarding their missing L3 reports for the calendar year 2022. And public agency lobbyist employers regarding their missing L3 or L5 reports. On April 14th, 2023, PDC staff mailed and emailed hearing notices to lobbyist employers regarding their missing L3 reports and gave the option for signing a statement of understanding and mailing the $100 civil penalty payment for the SOU to be received or postmarked no later than May 15th, 2023. The resolved cases report for lobbyist employers L3 reports that is appended to the brief enforcement hearing case list, also known as the GE case list, shows the cases that PDC staff resolved prior to today's hearing through either the SOU or closure through administrative processes The remaining lobbyist employer cases are grouped in categories on the brief enforcement case list based on similar fact patterns. And that's all I have. Do you have questions about that, Commissioner Isserlis?
No, ma'am.
Right. So then we will move into our participant here. And this is in the lobbyist employers with one prior violation who failed to file the L3 report before the hearing. So it's their second occasion. It's in that section of the case list.
I have it.
Pull up that particular thing here. And I just want to let you know, Ms. McCarty, that once I do my presentation, then you'll be sworn in and allowed to give information, okay?
Okay, thank you.
So this is PDC case 124175 against CWA Pacific Northwest Council. This respondent had was an active lobbyist employer during 2022. Staff is alleging that the respondent violated RCW 4217A 630 by failing to file the annual lobbyist employer report, or L3 report, covering 2022. The report was due to the PDC no later than February 28th, 2023, disclosing lobbying activities for their contract lobbyist or lobbyists and their company in the previous calendar year, which was 2022. The respondent has not filed the missing L3 report prior to today's hearing. There is one prior violation with the PDC, and that case number is 107142. The respondent is participating in the hearing by telephone or Teams, and the staff recommends that you find a violation of RCW 4217A 630 against CWA Pacific Northwest Council for failing to file the L3 report and assess an appropriate penalty in accordance with WAC 390-37-143 for the filer with one prior violation who failed to file the L3 report before the date of the hearing. We have that recommended penalty at $500, and I am available for questions.
I do have one question before we move on to the participant. You indicated that there was one prior violation. Was the report filed and the attendant fine paid?
So they actually settled through a statement of understanding with that prior. So they did file and pay the $100 in that case.
Right. Thank you. All right, I can't see your name on the screen. Could you identify yourself so I can make sure that I swear you in properly?
Yes, sorry. My name is Christine McCarty. I'm the Secretary Treasurer of the CWA Pacific Northwest Council.
Okay, Ms. McCarty, would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Let me ask you a question first. What does CWA stand for?
It's the Communication Workers of America.
Got it. Thank you. Okay. What would you like to say on your behalf?
So I recently took over in April as the Secretary Treasurer and was not aware that the file, or it wasn't filed, until I got the April 14th notification. I did go on to the PDC website and fill out the L3 report, which is done, and sent in the statement of understanding with the $100 penalty. but clearly that has not gotten there as of yet. But I have it written down now that these need to be turned in no later than February. So going forward, it will be done on time. I don't know why. Jake was the previous secretary treasurer, and clearly he's been late twice with this. So I'll pay what fines we need to pay, but it is filed as of now.
Okay. I'm turning to Tabitha Townsend, who I think is shaking her head no that it has not been filed. So this is all done electronically, so it's pretty easy to verify. Tabitha,
Yeah,
what do you?
I just looked and I don't see that it started or filed, but I can connect with Christy after this and figure out where that disconnect is. But I'm looking at the profile right now and it's not showing saved or filed.
Which is weird because I went through the whole thing and submitted it. And when I pull it up, it says that, I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at, to be completely honest with you, because I've never filled this out before. So Tabitha, if we can get together after,
Yeah.
I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
Okay, well, sounds to me like a meeting of the minds here might be a really efficient way to accomplish the goal that we need to have accomplished. And I appreciate that you're going to put this on your tickler system so that future reports are filed in a timely manner, because what happens when you have one instance and then you get dinged a second time, the fine goes up exponentially. So we try to keep people out of trouble by giving them lots of notice that the reports are due in a timely manner. So I'm going to put the burden on you, Ms. McCarty, to contact Tabitha and resolve whatever reason there is that it isn't filed. It's a pretty simple thing to make sure that you press the right button. But unfortunately, I do need to find that the record supports a violation of RCW 4217A 630 by, hang on a second, the computer just went off. CWA Pacific Northwest Council. This is a second violation. The recommended base penalty is $500. With the testimony today and the disclosures that you've made, and I think the good faith that you've exhibited, I'm going to impose a fine of $500. I'm going to suspend $350 on the condition that you and Tabitha get this filed within, or that you get it filed with Tabitha's assistance within 30 days from the date of today's hearing. Your prior, the testimony was that your prior violation was resolved by the report being filed and the fine being paid. That you pay the non-suspended portion, which is $150 within 30 days, and that you commit no further violations of 4517A or Chapter 930 of the WAC for a period of 4 years from the date that the final order is issued in the case.
Sounds good.
So with that concludes the matter, and I'll commend you to Tabitha Townsend to work out the details.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
And
very much.
one of us will contact you, Ms. McCarty, after the hearing, okay?
Okay, do you want my cell phone number so it's easier?
Why don't we do that via email? I'll shoot you an email right now and you can respond and we can
Okay.
confirm that we have the right contact info.
Perfect, thank you.
Are
Okay.
you at the CWA Pacific or PNW Council at Gmail, right?
I have access to it right now.
Okay, perfect.
Perfect, thank you guys.
Thank
very
you.
much.
Have a good day.
All right, that brings us down to, I believe,
Back to the beginning.
That would be me next.
Okay.
All right, and so these are lobbyist employers with no priors who filed. So this is going to be PDC cases 124137, Seed Runner / Key Recovery and Life Skills Center, 124148, Oregon Biosciences Association, and 124173, Clean Tech Incorporated, and 124183, Washington State Golf Association, doing business as Washington Golf. Staff is alleging, all these respondents were active lobbyist employers during 2022. Staff is alleging that these respondents violated RCW 4217A630 by failing to timely file the annual lobbyist employer report for 2022. This L3 report was due to be filed with the PDC no later than February 28th, 2023, disclosing lobbying activity for their contracted lobbyists and their company in the previous calendar year. As I said, all these respondents did file their missing L3 reports. They have no prior violations, and they are not participating. Staff recommends you find a violation of RCW 4217A630 against these respondents for failing to timely file the L3 report and assess an appropriate penalty in accordance with WAC 390-37-143 for a filer with no prior violations who failed to who filed the L3 report prior to the date of the hearing. In this case, that penalty would be $150. I'm available if you have any questions.
And none of these 4 cases did they submit any, they didn't do an SOU and they didn't pay a fine.
Correct.
Okay. Given that, as to these 4 cases, 124137, 124148, 124173, and 124183, I find the record does support that there was a violation of RCW 4217A630 by each of those parties for failing to timely file the required lobbyist annual report for calendar year 2022. I am going to impose the base penalty of $150 in each case and suspend $50 of that with the understanding that the reports are filed now, so they don't have to worry about that they pay the non-suspended portion within 30 days and commit no further violations of Chapter 4517A RCW and Chapter 930 of the WAC for a period of 4 years.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'll be doing the next section. This is concerning lobbyist employers with prior violations who failed to file the L3 report before the hearing. The cases are as follows: 124118 Exact Sciences Corp., 124120 Ford Motor Company, 124123 GeoX Energy Inc., 124125 Inland Boatmen's Union, 124129 International Council of Shopping Centers, 124131 Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of Washington, 124143 Natura, 124164 Aerospace Futures Alliance of Washington LDT, 124169 Brain Injury Association of Washington, DBA Brain Injury Alliance of Washington, and 124170 BTA Holdings LLC. Staff is alleging that the respondents violated RCW 42.17A 630 by failing to file or timely file the annual lobbyist employer report for 2022. The L3 report was due to be filed with the PDC no later than February 28th, 2023, disclosing lobbying activity for their contract lobbyists and their company in the previous calendar year. The respondents failed to file the missing L3 report by today's hearing date. The respondents have no prior violations with the PDC. The respondents did not respond to the hearing notice or provide information to PDC staff. Staff recommends that you find a violation of RCW 42.17A 630 against the respondents for failing to file or timely file the L3 report and assess an appropriate penalty in accordance with WAC 390-37-143 for filers with no prior violations who failed to file the L3 report by the date of the hearing. The base penalty amount for a respondent in this category is $250. and I'm available for questioning.
Thank you. I see that some of these companies are really large, like Kaiser Foundation Health Plan and Ford Motor Company, and then there's some probably very small entities like the Brain Injury Association of Washington. So there's a mix here that I guess is interesting. But be that as it may, as to each of these cases, and I'll just rattle them off in the order that they were presented: 124-118, 124-120, 124-123, 124-125, 124-129, 124-131, 124-143, 124-164, 124-169, and 124-170. We'll find in each of those cases that the record supports a violation of RCW 4217A 630 by the respondent in each of those cases for failing to timely file the required lobbyist employer's annual report for calendar year 2022. Having found that violation, they have no priors, but the report wasn't filed and it needs to be. So I'm going to impose the base penalty fine in each case of $250. I will suspend $100 of that if each of the respondents files the necessary report and is in compliance within 30 days. They pay the outstanding non-suspended portion of the penalty within 30 days, and they commit no further violations within a period of 4 years from the date that the final order is entered.
All right, so I'm going to be doing the next category. This would be lobbyist employers with one prior violation who failed to file. This is going to be PDC cases 124122, Puget Sound Advocates for Retirement Action, 124140, Signature Healthcare Services, 124176, Washington State Society of Ocularists, and 124177, Washington Smoke Free Association. These were all active lobbyist employers during 2022. Staff is alleging that these respondents violated RCW 4217A 630 by failing to file the annual lobbyist employer report for 2022. These reports were due to be filed with the PDC no later than February 28, 2023, disclosing lobbying activity for their contract lobbyists and their company in the previous calendar year. These respondents failed to file the missing L3 report by the date of today's hearing. They each have one prior. None of them are participating in this hearing, nor have they provided any written testimony for staff to provide to the presiding officer. Staff recommends you find the violation of RCW 4217A 630 against these respondents for failing to file the L3 report and assess an appropriate penalty in accordance with WAC 390-37143 for a filer with one prior violation who failed to file the L3 report by the date of the hearing. In this case, that penalty amount would be $500. I'm available if you have any questions.
So we've already resolved the CWA Pacific Northwest Council matter. As to the other four, they have a prior violation. Have the prior violations been satisfied, or are they still outstanding?
These would have all been satisfied.
Okay.
Or at least the report filed.
You know if
I'm
any
not sure on the
fines were
fine off the.
imposed that
Pardon?
Are there any fines that were imposed that are outstanding?
I don't have that information in front of me right at the second.
I can look really quick with you, Jordan. If you want to take the first two, I'll take the second two. We can check them really quick.
Only because if they haven't complied fully with the previous thing, I want to take that into consideration.
Right.
I'm glad they all filed their reports. That's important.
It looks like, let me double check these. So I know Puget Sound Advocates paid theirs,
Okay.
and as did the Society of Ocularists.
And
they both
Smoke
paid.
Free did not.
Yeah, and I don't think Signature Healthcare did either. It shows that went to collections, but I'd have to double. I don't remember seeing anything about us having received a payment.
So
from
tell
them
me
either.
which one that was again, Jordan. Signature Healthcare.
Yeah, Signature Healthcare Services.
Okay,
And it
so
looks like a prior for the Oculist is under a different case number than what's on the agenda. So I'm just trying to confirm that. Bear with me.
Should be 107, 132.
The prior,
Yeah.
or at least on the agenda I'm looking at, it's not. Yeah. And it does look like they did the SOU. Okay, good.
and who was that?
That was the Oculist. I
Okay.
think Jordan had already said.
Okay, so just so I have my looking at my notes correctly, Washington Smoke Free Association filed the report but did not pay the fine. Is that right?
Correct.
Yeah.
And Signature Health filed the report and did not pay the fine.
Correct.
Okay. And then Puget Sound Advocates filed and paid the fine, and Ocularists filed and paid whatever. They paid whatever their financial obligations were. Okay. Then I'm going to handle those two categories differently. As to case, did I get this right? 124177 Washington Smoke Free Association, and case number 124140 Signature Healthcare Services, Inc. I'm going to find that the record supports a violation of RCW 4217A630 by each of those respondents for failing to timely file the lobbyist employer annual report for calendar year 2022. Both of those respondents have one prior violation and have not complied with the penalties imposed in their previous cases. And since this is a second violation, I am going to impose the base penalty of $500. I will only suspend $100 of that to give them some incentive to bring their reports into compliance within 30 days, pay the non-suspended portion within 30 days, pay any other outstanding fees that they have associated with prior cases, and not commit no further violations within 4 years from the date of the order. As to Puget Sound Advocates for Retirement Action 124122 and the Washington State Society of Ocularists, I love that word, 124176. They do have prior cases. Staff has testified that the prior reports have been filed and any attendant penalties have been paid. I will find that the record supports a violation of RCW 4217A630 by each of those respondents for failing to timely file the excuse me, lobbyist employer annual report for calendar year 2022. This is a second violation. I'm going to impose the penalty of $500 as to them, since they did cure their prior violations. I am going to suspend half of that, or $250, to encourage them to bring last year's report into compliance and file that within 30 days, pay the non-suspended portion within 30 days. They don't have any other outstanding fees before the PDC, so that doesn't apply, and that they commit no further violations within 4 years from the date of the final order.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
We're just moving right through this today.
Sorry, I was just making notes. And then we're going to move into our modifications. And then we will be done. Super quick for you today.
Fred will regret that he found something better to do.
Yeah. So the first one is going to be presented by me, and then Ian will present his first mod renewal for us.
Okay.
Exciting. So this first one is a modification request for Eric Eisinger. I do believe I'm saying that correctly. I could be wrong. It is for his annual report covering calendar year 2022. It's a renewal with no change. And Mr. Eisinger is the county prosecutor for Benton County. This request is a renewal of his partial reporting modification that would exempt him from disclosing the business customers or clients that paid $12,000 or more during calendar year 2022 to Walker Hay PLLC, previously known as Walker Hay Meehan Eisinger PLLC. Mr. Eisinger is an attorney and was a partner of this law firm with a 16% ownership until November of 2022. Mr. Eisinger states that in his application that Walker Hay PLLC's office is located in Richland and employs 6 attorneys, with 5 of those attorneys being partners and 1 being an associate, and 8 additional administrative staff during the reporting period. Also reporting the gross receipts for 2022, as of his knowledge, were 2.2 million, with more than 500 active clients. Mr. Eisinger stated that he is unable to disclose the identity of his clients without the client's consent, due to the lawyer's rules of professional conduct, and that none of the firm's clients are listed in public sources. He states that there were 5 reportable clients who paid more than $12,000 during the reporting period that he directly was involved with, and he has listed those 5 on his F1 report using client numbers instead of names. He's confirmed that there were no payments made by Benton County to Walker Hay PLLC during the reporting period. He also states that he no longer has access to the client information, as he's no longer party to the firm. And he's agreed to recuse himself if a conflict of interest between his duties and his elected official position and his personal interests were to come in front of him. Also, the reporting obligation would not need to be extended through his whole term, as the obligation for this reporting will go away after this F1. Because he terminated with the firm. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So it's just
he's no longer with the firm. Yeah.
No longer with the firm. He's now in a position that requires him not to have to file this information. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
So we're just cleaning up a time period.
Yeah. Correct.
All right.
His previous one involved, I think what you're looking at is that personal residence piece, because he was a candidate at the time of his initial. And so that dropped because now he is a sitting. So
Right.
now we're just cleaning up with the the attorney request.
He took over the spot for my friend Andy Miller, who was a longtime prosecutor there who retired last fall.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah, I'm very familiar with Mr. Eisinger. And I find that the request for the modification is appropriate under, I don't have the statute in front of me, but you know what information to fill in the order. It's perfectly acceptable. It will clean up what needs to be done, and from going forward now, he will be exempt from having to report this information. So hopefully this will be the last time we see Mr. Eisinger.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, I will be presenting the next one. So this modification concerns Judge Norma Rodriguez for their annual report covering calendar year 2022. This is a request for a renewal with no change. Judge Rodriguez is a Superior Court judge for Benton County, position 4. Judge Rodriguez is requesting a renewal of the reporting modification that would exempt her from disclosing the business customers or clients that paid $12,000 or more during the calendar year 2022 to her former law firm, Quantum Legal PLLC, formerly known as Rodriguez, Interio, Hansen and Roger PLLC. Judge Rodriguez was an attorney with Rodriguez, Interiano, Hansen and Rogers PLLC prior to her appointment to the Benton County Superior Court. Quantum Law LLC has an office that employs 5 attorneys, 2 paralegals, 2 office assistants, and has hundreds of accounts, which includes clients from past years that are on payment plans, and the firm generates over $2 million a year. Judge Rodriguez stated that obtaining the number of clients required for reporting would be an extreme burden, and attests that she no longer has access to any of the clients' names or payment information. Judge Rodriguez also states that she would be in violation of confidentiality agreements if she reported some of these clients. Judge Rodriguez stated that the Benton County Superior Courts have the client list from Quantum Law LLC and will be assigning cases to dockets other than her own to avoid conflicts. Judge Rodriguez has agreed also to recuse herself if a matter did come before her involving a conflict of interest between her and her former law firm. Of note, Judge Rodriguez would not require a future modification renewal for this matter due to her association with the firm ending with her termination at the time of her appointment to her current position, and I'm available for any further questions.
We have to extend this for any period of time. She was appointed and then stood for election and was elected. So is this in effect for the balance of her term?
Yes, correct. Yeah. This is covering the 2022 F1 report, which was already filed.
Okay.
Yeah, the prior one was a prior 12, and it kind of had some overlap. If that looks funny.
So yeah,
to you.
It's kind of a funny one. It's a little bit of a one-off, but
yeah.
She was appointed. Now she's run for election. She'll be there for at least 4 years. And so, yeah, modification granted.
Perfect.
Just make sure whatever order we enter gets her through the balance of her term, which would be through.
Well, she won't need it because this information, just like the last one, she no longer works with the firm. So it's kind of like the last one where they're just kind of cleaning up from being appointed.
I like to keep my lawyer friends happy, so.
Yeah. And I think that's all we have for you.
I think that is all we have. Thank you, as always, for your thorough presentations and having the information to make my job easier. I'll see y'all Thursday.
Okay, so if you want to officially adjourn, I can stop recording.
The meeting adjourned.